This is my husband's first real backpacking trip. He's done like overnight, slept in a tent before, but this is the first time we're actually doing a full day hike, then, setting up camp, and then hiking more the next day.
Yep.
So.
And we're doing it on Mother's Day.
Yes. So.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. We are back on the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania, doing an overnight. We're going from Bake Oven Road to the Eckville shelter area. And once we get that far, I'll have filled in everything from Port Clinton north in Pennsylvania. We had trail angels. Chrissy, Doug, and Katie shuttled us from one end to the other. We were really grateful for their assistance and glad to finally meet them. So far, the trail has been fine. It's a nice, fairly level path. I know that's going to change. I know we'll be hitting Knife's Edge this morning, but for now, we're only about a half mile in, and the trail has been nice and easy to walk on.
It's teasing us.
Yes, it's teasing us. So we've reached Bear Rocks. It's up there. So we're gonna try and scramble up to the top and see what it looks like up there. All right, I'm gonna need multiple hands. This was a tough scramble. For those of you who know my fear of heights and scrambly rocks, I'm a little freaked out right now, but I'm okay. I did it. This is as far as I'm going. There's a little bit more up there, but I can see the view from here. So.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I think you go between those rocks. Oh, it looks like you could go around either side because there's a blaze on both sides.
There's a blaze up there too.
Yeah, so we're heading to the left, but it looks like you could go around either way. You go that way, I'll go this way. Less than 2/10 of a mile to Knife's Edge. This whole area here is very rocky, and a lot of them are loose. So you step on them and they wobble. We've got a lot of movers and shakers in this area here, so you gotta be careful. sedge. So far so good. Climbing along that. Alright, so of course the first thing I did as I started climbing up Knife's Edge was I bent over a little too far and I didn't have my latch on my water bottle, which fell out and smashed on the ground, and I broke the cap. So I'm gonna have to get a new one of those little sport caps. The trail is improving somewhat. It's a whole lot less rocky here. Let's hope that it keeps up for a little while at least. You may notice that I'm wearing a new hat. If you remember the hat that I had on the John Muir Trail, the one problem I had with it, that it was the back sometimes knocked into my backpack. And I had to sort of tuck the back brim under a little bit in order to keep it from doing that. So this hat has a back area that hangs down. It's not so much a brim, but more of a piece of cloth that hangs down in the back. So I'm giving this a try. So far it seems fine. We'll see how I like it compared to my other hat. So after a lot of deliberation and debate and thinking things through, we have decided on our summer hiking plans for this year. So I actually have two different plans. So the first thing I'm going to do this summer is I'm going to take some time to knock out the Massachusetts section of the Appalachian Trail. So that's on my list. But the other thing that we're going to do involves my husband, and we've actually been changing our mind on that. This started when he watched the videos from last year's John Muir Trail trip and saw how beautiful it was, and asked if he could come along for a much shorter piece. Like, could we do a shorter section, maybe a week? So I said, yeah, absolutely. And I even went online and got the permit, and we were going to do the one of the loops in the Sierras. And then the snow hit. And it kept snowing and snowing and snowing. And, you know, they've had 300% of average snowfall in the Sierras. The snowpack is just massive. And so that's going to make hiking hard. The north side of the passes will probably still have snow well into August. And it's also going to make the rivers more difficult to cross because of the runoff. They had a bridge that collapsed, and that's kind of a critical bridge at that junction of the river. There's no other easy way to cross it. So we said, this just isn't meant to be this year. This would not be a good first experience for him to have, a Sierra trip that would be that difficult. So we decided to can that, and instead we are going to go to Washington State and spend a week of time hiking a section of the PCT in Washington. So we're going to do the section between Snoqualmie Pass and Stevens Pass. And we're going to give ourselves about a week to do that. So those are our summer plans. So we're all set
I'm
with
actually
that.
looking forward to it and trying to train up as much as I can.
Yeah. All right, so we stopped at the Thunderhead Lodge to grab something to eat. We're going to have a second lunch because it's Mother's Day and I can.
Yeah.
We just left Thunderhead Lodge. It's a nice place. We enjoyed it. We almost didn't stop there. We had already had a light lunch up by one of the campsites as we were walking along. Plus, this is Sunday, and they do Sunday brunch until 2. And being Mother's Day, it was, we were figuring Mother's Day brunch, and there'd be all kinds of fancy dressed up people, and, we didn't want to come in with our grubby clothes and backpacks into Mother's Day brunch. But they do have an all-day menu, so you didn't have to do brunch, and they had a beautiful back deck. And so we just stopped for a little while. We got a couple of appetizers, got a little arugula salad and some sweet potato fries, and we sat out on the back deck for a while and just, relaxed and enjoyed it. And now we're hiking on. We've got about 4 more miles to the campsite, and the trail's looking pretty good. It hasn't been bad since about the power line. It was rocky from Bake Oven Road through Bare Rocks and Knife Edge to the power line. And then it's been reasonable since then. We're about a quarter mile from the Allentown shelter. It's one last little push up a hill. Not too bad of a hill though. All right, we made it to camp. We're camped near the Allentown shelter, which is right there. And we're sitting at the picnic table, getting our dinner ready. We got the tent set up. So let me give you a quick tour. This is a nice little shelter. It's got bunks on the sides. It's set back with a nice overhang. It even has an overhang for the table on the side. You got a picnic table, a fire pit, privies in the back there, and we set up right down there. Campfire.
We made fire! With the help of a lighter.
Good morning. So we survived the night. We clearly have some tweaking to do with John's gear, but we'll get it improved, and hopefully the next trip will be a little bit easier.
easier, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, a hotel room is right around the corner.
Well, one of the problems is that we set our tent up on a site that wasn't level, and that was just, that's always a recipe for disaster. So it was not a good first experience. But yeah, we need a different sleeping mat for him. And, but those things are all fixable. Alright, so it's still kind of chilly this morning. We made it out of camp before 8 o'clock, so that wasn't bad. But I have to walk for a few minutes to warm up. As you can see, the trail's getting quite rocky. And the rocks are back. So that's what happens when you walk into a tree and you require first aid. I was looking down at my feet. I didn't see the tree. That's the tree. Right there. We're about 1.5 miles from the car. We're working on the last descent down toward Hawk Mountain Road. I'd say it was a basically successful first backpacking trip for my husband. We figured out what needs to be tweaked and fixed, and we'll try to do that before his next practice trip. Thanks for joining along, and we'll see you down the trail.